Uh, what's going on, everybody? This Afro think tank. All right, this is gonna be all right. Follow me here. All right. Okay, so a British man who supports Donald Trump gets deported from America to Britain. Okay. Now, this British man is, in fact, a staunch Trump supporter. And even though he got deported, all right, back to Britain, he supports Donald Trump deporting people back to their countries, including himself. And he is still a Trump supporter in Britain. When he landed in Britain, he commenced to telling the world that Britain is a third world country and the demographics of Britain does not reflect, what Britain is supposed to look like. Now, as a person that got deported to Britain, there are people in Britain, all right, in the UK, all right, who are upset that people like this person is being deported back to Britain, and it's a problem. She's also upset that people who are being deported out of Britain are given, I guess, £3,000 to resettle in the country of their origin. And she says, why don't British people can't even get £1,000 to take care of ourselves? Okay? But here's the thing. The person that's a Trump supporter that got deported from America to Britain is black. And the British person who said she got a problem with all these people coming in her country, and she got a problem with people who are getting deported out of her country, all right, is getting 3 stacks. And she can't get 1 stack. And she said, what about us British people? She is also black. So these are all black people. All right. And so maybe these Europeans, all right, in Europe, all right, maybe they onto something. All right. Because if you got this black American Trump supporter who's happy he got deported, all right, because he feels like it was the right thing to do, right? He go to Britain, he talking shit, saying Britain just don't look like the way Britain's supposed to look like. Okay? He got a lot of backlash for that. He said maybe he could have said it in a different way. But he was expressing his feelings the day he landed. It wanted to be one of the fresh, hot take. All right? He said when he saw, all right, Britain, he was like, you know what? This is not, all right, what Britain is supposed to look like. The demographics is off. And then the black woman, she said, us British people, all right, the government don't want to take care of us British people, all right, and these other people need to be sent home and not given any money so that the government can give us British people, all right, that money. But everybody black. The interviewer are white, all right? Now, this is the Twilight Zone, all right? But it's I'm starting to kind of wonder, if I were to take a vacation to the UK, all right? Because I'm thinking I need to do this now. Like, I'm thinking I need to get on a plane and go to the UK to see it for myself. Are you saying that white folk, are you saying that there's not that many white folk in the UK? Are you saying that the UK is so diverse that we can get a black American Trump supporting British illegal immigrant to go back to Britain and talk shit about the demographics of the country, and then get a black woman from Britain to talk shit about the demographics and why all these people need to go back to their countries and not get money and how it's a problem for us Britons. It's starting to sound like Britain is really Lagos. All right? Or Accra. Okay? That's what it's starting to sound like. All right? It's starting to sound like that. I'm starting to believe there are more black folks who speak English than white folk who speak English. Somebody tell me in the comment section, is that true? Is there more black people, let's include Africa too, are there more black people who speak English than there are English people who speak English? Let's do that. More English people who speak English? Because I know there's more French. There's more black French people. All right? There's more black people who speak French than there are French people who speak French. All right? That's the worst thing y'all ever did. All right? The biggest mistake you white folk made when y'all went gallivanting around the world is give everybody a language. You see, with African people, we couldn't talk to each other back then because we all had these different languages and shit. Y'all fucked around and gave us a language we can communicate with. Huh? It's no reason I should be in Nigeria being able to communicate with all these Nigerians. I shouldn't be able to talk to Hausas, Fulanis, and Igbos, and Danke, and all that. I shouldn't be able to talk to all these people. Y'all fucked around. Gave us that damn English language. Now that shit about to be ours. Huh? All right, look, just watch it. All right? I'm not even going to call this dude a coon. Coonarian. All right? You can't say coon anymore, okay? Because, I mean, he is, but he's British, so I'm just going to, you know what I'm saying? Look, listen, they British. All right? Can a black person be British? Can a white person be African? We already said no. Right? So, if a white person most definitely can't be African. Ain't no way. All right. None of them South African white folk are African. They just colonizers, right? Settlers, colonizers. Settlers to be nice. That means, you know, what's good for the goose is good for gander. There shouldn't be no black British. There's just Africans in Britain, right? I mean, it's fair, right? Hey, look, I feel for you Europeans. All right, white folk. I don't feel for the American white folk. They colonizers. But you guys ain't never go nowhere. That's your homeland. And apparently, you need black folks to speak up for you when it comes to immigration, because ain't enough of y'all do it. All right? And you need black folks to tell the world that, hey, the demographics of Britain is changing, because I guess ain't enough of y'all to do it. Shit. Hey, in America, shit, white people so damn bad, all the white supremacists are black and Spanish. Number one races is black and Spanish. White folks can't get a spot. Anyway, listen, hey, I guess this shit's really happening. Man. Somebody must have turned the heat up on that boiling water. On that shit boiling. I see the bubbles now. All right, I see the bubbles. We gotta start talking about black supremacy now and shit. All right, hey, we gotta start getting used to being called goddamn oppressors and shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we might actually start to be able to be racist. We on our way to able to be actually be racist, huh? Because you know you can't, only white folks can be racist, but at this point, you know what I'm saying, the minorities are complaining. Hey, look, white folks, I mean, they always been a minority, but now everybody know, shit, we done switch places now. White folks, y'all the minority. We gotta stop calling ourselves we the majority. And you know what's funny though? Even the ones that see the demographic change, right? They always say, oh, black people, Africans, they was only like 5% of the world population until like 5 minutes ago, and all of a sudden they just blew up. You know that's a goddamn lie. We've always been the majority. And never in the history of mankind has there ever been 30% of the global population of white folk. Ain't never. You white folks who lied to y'all? Huh? Y'all ain't never been 30% of nothing. Y'all always been 7 to 14%, at the 14% generously. Which y'all did get that fucking gunpowder, them Gatling guns and them cannons. That y'all made up your own numbers after that. God damn, what is that? Y'all made up your own numbers after that. But anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. All right, it's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Trump is shouting about ICE and deportations.
We took out over 2,000 hardcore criminals.
But what about the people that he's deporting here, to the UK?
I was arrested, detained, and deported.
I was an illegal immigrant in the United States.
Taken to London Heathrow Airport.
I had minimal family. I have no one. I've never been here. I was just born here.
I should have been deported.
It's going to be a mass load of people coming.
As a society, are we ready for that? I don't think we are.
Since taking office, President Trump has deported hundreds of thousands of people. What you may not realize is that some of those people are British and have been deported back to the UK. We've been analysing data from ICE, obtained by a research group called the Deportation Data Project, and we can now reveal that 212 people were deported from the US to the UK between Trump's inauguration in January last year and October the 15th. That's roughly double the number under Biden. This is one of those people.
Yes, I got deported after 20 plus years and 97+% of my life in the United States.
We're on our way to Manchester now to meet him. This guy was deported last year. Interestingly, I think he is still a Trump supporter. Hi, I'm Patrick.
In the summer or early autumn of last year, I was arrested, detained, and deported by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Chicago. I was actually on the way to the airport heading to a friend's wedding. I'd just gotten in an Uber on the way to the airport from my apartment. They had a specific warrant for me. I wasn't picked up in a raid. They came looking for me. They knew my work schedule. They'd been monitoring me. This one I took as I was in ICE custody. And then those are actually these pants right here. From there, I was taken to a county jail where I was detained in a cell with maybe 40 other detainees. I was there for 3 weeks. Then I was loaded onto an American Airlines flight and taken to London Heathrow Airport, at which point I was released.
Ted, who's asked us to change his name, is a British national, but his parents took him to live in the US as a child without proper documentation.
So my first removal order was when I was 12 years old, 2013.
He believes that a drunk driving conviction in 2022 put him higher on ICE's list. So this is the warrant for your deportation. Yes. Despite his deportation, he does still support Trump's immigration policies.
Unlawful presence after learning that I was unlawfully present, right? I'm not making excuses. I should have been deported. There is an illegal immigration crisis in America, and any president who wants a lawfully ordered nation has the right and the duty and the obligation to enforce deportation. And yet with what just happened in Minnesota, you saw these leftist agitators that were impeding law enforcement. They were obstructing the enforcement of the law in attempts to detain and deport illegal immigrants, especially criminal illegal immigrants. And what Trump did is he pulled the Department of Homeland Security out of Minnesota. I think, if anything, if he were being consistent with his policies, he should have brought in the National Guard and doubled down.
I was curious to understand Ted's frame of mind in the video he recorded when he first arrived in the UK.
You see that outside of London, all of England is a third world country.
And his apparent dislike of his new home.
A dump.
I guess I stand by what I said in that video. I think I could have said it much more charitably in a less insulting or offensive manner. But those were my honest reactions when I got here. The demographics of England are a lot different than I was expecting. Just the concentration of ethnic minorities. As soon as I stepped off the train, as soon as I walked into the station, it appeared that the minorities were majority and the ethnic English were in the minority, at least in the train station. That was my first observation.
How do you sort of square or reconcile the fact that you are the product of migration, your parents not from England, with your views about England should be for English people?
I would make a distinction between the individual immigrants and immigration policy as a whole. I think it's not only counterproductive, but it's really just inconsiderate, rude to go to any individual immigrant and say, you don't belong here, versus the policy which allows masses to change the demographics of an existing place.
Ted's story isn't the obvious story of deportation. he's got complex views about the whole subject. He sees his position as an individual who suffered from deportation, yet at the same time he's got sympathy for the policy of restricting migration. Ted says that his only criminal activity is one incident of drink driving. Around half of the people deported from the US to the UK have no criminal charges or convictions, but others are British nationals who commit crimes in the US and are deported at the end of their prison sentence. Oluwa, who also goes by Joe, is one of those people. Like Ted, he was born in England, but was brought to the US as a child. His family stayed there illegally. He was deported last year after serving 19 years in prison.
I was incarcerated for a violent crime. I was young. I don't make excuses for back then, but I lived the wrong lifestyle. I was an addict. I would smoke weed. I used drugs. I was very inhuman. When I was incarcerated, ICE came to see me, said, we're going to deport you. We'll investigate who you are, because I was an illegal immigrant in the United States. I don't have no family in the UK. I have minimal family. I have no one. I've never been here. I was just born here.
Joe says that the lack of support for deportees like himself puts him and others in danger.
I just did 19 years in prison, no family, no money. I had 20, 30 pounds. I've been violent my whole life. What do you expect someone to do when their back is against the wall and they're starving and they're suffering and their mental health is not together and they're sleeping in the cold outside? To someone who's vulnerable, who's susceptible to drugs is flooded. It is. It's flooded with bad. When you drop someone like me for 19 years in that environment, what do you expect?
Joe says that without the support of a charity called Prisoners Abroad, he would have taken his own life. One of the things they do is try and pick people up when they've just arrived, physically, spiritually pick them up, and care for them for the first few weeks of their lives in Britain.
Yeah, so this is where people arrive. This will be the first time we meet somebody, bearing in mind that people come back often with nothing, and they are surviving in places that we've maybe put them up for a short period. So we'll have a whole range of different things, toiletries, essentials, clothing that people may need. It's often a surprise to people that when people come back from a prison sentence overseas, that there's no probation support to people. They finish their sentence, so they literally arrive at Heathrow to nothing. But I think it's fair to say that anybody that understands successful resettlement, it is more likely that people will commit further offences if you don't support them through that process. The number of people deported from the US back to the UK has increased quite a bit this year. We think, and from what we see, the increase in the last year or so is the beginnings, and it only feels like the beginning of the impact of what is going on in America in the number of people that are being picked up and put into immigration detention.
Are we, as a society, as a state, as local authorities, ready for that impact?
I don't think we are ready as a society. I don't think we're set up. I don't even think we're thinking about this. I think as a country, we're often thinking about deporting people away from this country, but that is happening in reverse daily. People are coming back to this country that have been deported, perhaps from the US or perhaps from other parts of the world. This isn't just a US issue. And as a society, are we ready for that? I don't think we are, and we haven't been for quite some time.
Nicole Dehan was deported under Trump's first administration. She now runs a community group to help other deportees, including Joe.
Well, with what Trump is doing is just not human. And I'm scared for my own family over there. Now that he's done this, it's gonna be a mass load of people come in. It's gonna be more than the numbers are gonna rise. But I don't think ignorance prepared. What really disgusts me, what I just found out recently, is that people that are being deported from England are getting £3,000 to help them settle in their own country. I cried about that. That disgusts me. But we, as British citizens, can't get £1 to save our life. What is wrong with this picture?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.